Hi and welcome to edCafe. This is your host Mansi, and today we have a very special guest with us. Let me give you a glimpse of his introduction. So he's a founder of ClassReady. It would be an injustice if I would talk about his own life journey that he has given to ClassReady. Please welcome Mr. Abhinav Bhatnagar. Thank you for being there on the edCafe platform. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you so much.
And please tell our audiences about yourself.
All right. Hi everyone. My name is Abhinav and I'm founder of ClassReady. So at ClassReady, we ensure that students, kids who are studying in school, they build a foundation of better communication skills so that they are able to communicate, speak up well, whatever they have in their mind. Just to give you a slight brief, I think we all have struggled at some point of time the way we speak, the way we write, or in general, speaking in front of an audience. So that is what we do. We give them the ability and the power to just overcome that fear and speak up confidently their mind instead of just saying yes ma'am, no ma'am.
So basically that builds your communication skills when
Absolutely.
we talk about the early age students.
Absolutely.
And to be very honest, it is very important for us to even understand in this scenario, in this generation, that it is important for you to know how to even just stand up in front of someone and have
Right.
that confidence to talk.
Right.
To anyone, if it is even if it is a parent or even if it is a guardian or maybe any mentor.
Right.
So rightly said. My question would be that how did you bring the concept of ClassReady? Like, what made you think about the concept like ClassReady?
All right. So I think the genesis of it starts way beyond like 10 years back. So I come from a small town called Saharanpur, and which is in UP, and most of us, I think, when we come to a bigger city, metro city, the bigger challenge that we face is how to speak up our minds. My first boss used to tell me कि यार कुछ तो बोलो, मतलब मीटिंग में चुपचाप मत रहो, जो भी दिमाग में आइडियाज आ रहे हैं बोलो. And I would always just wait and write in my notebook कि एक यूरेका आइडिया आएगा तब मैं बोलूँगा. And just like that 10 मीटिंग 20 मीटिंग निकल जाते थे, and people would look at me and say कि अच्छा ये तो बोलता ही नहीं है मीटिंग्स में. And that goes way back into your schooling system where you're just giving yes ma'am, no ma'am, answer ma'am, may I go to toilet, may I go to washroom, and stuff like that, right? So that is deep rooted within us. So when I took that journey for 7-8 years where I navigated through different roles, I realized that this is something that really sets everyone apart. Leave math aside, or your calculation skills, or your critical thinking skills, but if you're able to communicate, you can at least be somewhere and be yourself rather than just hiding behind and finding your own USP as a person.
Exactly.
So I've been working with several organizations primarily into education. I've worked with students, I've worked with the parents and school owners, principals, and across all the spectrum of people in this segment, I realized that this is one thing which really can help one set apart. Like, I'll give you an example. So like, if you look at Satya Nadella or any other CEOs, I don't think they are the best coders among Google or Microsoft, right? It's about how they are able to communicate their ideas to the team. Like, for example, Google Maps, it would have never been Google Maps if somebody would have come up and communicated this fantastic idea कि ऐसे भी कोई navigate कर सकता है. So all this thought process while I was working with schools, kids, I realized that if I have to change something, if I have to work on something, this is something which can change millions of lives, and that's why we all are doing ClassReady today.
I mean, that's amazing. Like what you said, that it is important for us to, communicate about our own ideas that we have built in our mind.
Absolutely.
And it is important for us to know, like, कि yes, अगर हमारे सामने 10 लोग हैं तो जो हम सोच रहे हैं उनको ये चीज पता चले.
Right, and no matter if it is right or wrong,
exactly.
It just has to be your thought process.
Exactly, and you do not have to think कि नहीं यार अगर मैंने ये idea बोल दिया कि you know what would he judge?
Right.
Like no, this is not like that.
Yeah.
You just have to speak your ideas, your genres, what you understand,
right.
because every personality is a unique personality.
Absolutely.
As we say. Like as we talk about the class ready concept, like how does it enhances the learning experience for a student?
All right. So see, if you look at spoken English is not a new concept in India. I mean, if you just look at English as a skill. Even when I was a child, there were this British learning centers where somebody would tell you, अच्छा इसका मतलब ये है, इस sentence को हिंदी में ऐसे translate करो. But in today's world, it doesn't work with kids like that, right? Either they're interested or they're not interested. They can't be pushed to a spoken English center per se. So what we do is and also another thing, right now, as of 2023, you cannot replace teachers with AI completely. I mean, the teachers can use something, but some technology tool to be able to teach better, but they cannot be replaced. So our first pillar is the teachers that we have. We have teachers from across the country who are not just English teachers, but they are people like you, people like me, who have had a stint somewhere. They are good in communication, and now they want to disseminate or teach somewhere those skills. So that is point number one. Second is the activity-based learning module. Now, if I have to tell you how to introduce yourself as a child, most likely you will introduce, hey, my name is Abhinav, I'm in grade 6, I'm from St. Mary's Academy, I have done this, right? That's it. That would be my introduction. Standard
introduction that we have been taught.
Exactly. But in class ready, if a teacher is teaching you how to introduce yourself, we would first of all make a plot. अच्छा चलो आज हम सब magicians हैं. We will all make our character. We will put a name. Let's say I'm Harry and you're like Ron Weasley, for example, from Harry Potter, right? Then you will have to write, okay, Harry can do all these magic spells. Ron can do all these magic spells. We will also probably make a plot of that story where we are introducing ourselves, and we'll make a hat and make it slightly funnier, and then that is how we will introduce ourselves. So learning while you do is something which can teach you any concept, not just communication skills. But if you look at communication skills, it's most effective because while you're speaking up, there are essentially 4 skills which are at play: listening, speaking, reading, and writing. LSRW skills, right? So if I had to ask you, introduce yourself, ideally you should write, think about it, maybe do some research. Okay, this is how others are introducing themselves, and not just plainly say, hey, my name is this, I work here, and this is what I do. So that is what we teach students. If they have to tell a story, how can they think about the story? How can they write about what is the main body, what is the ending, what is the starting? So we give the structure to kids so that learning remains lifelong. Now, if tomorrow you're working in some corporate or you're in a good college and your professor or your boss asks you, okay, make a presentation, you won't be like sitting numb कि मैं कहाँ से शुरू करूँ, ideas. ये हम सबके साथ होता है. Presentation start करना है. Till now. पहले 2 दिन तो बैठे रहते हैं कि अच्छा शुरू कहाँ से करें, खत्म कहाँ पे करें, कहाँ मतलब पहले पेपर पे लिखे या सीधे पीपीटी पे बना दे. So all those things is a structure which comes with time, which comes with practice, and this is not something कि आप स्कूल में नहीं सीख सकते. It's a thought process कि मैं किसी भी आइडिया को कैसे अप्रोच करूं. फॉर एग्जाम्पल, yesterday I was teaching a child and his parents told me कि इसकी लिखने का क्वालिटी अच्छा नहीं है, लेकिन लिख तो लेता है, but content, the vocabulary that they use, the grammar that they use is not really that great that somebody gets impressed. So I asked him, आपको क्या पसंद है? He said gaming. So we did some research, we went through different gamers, we sort of made a table. Okay, इंडिया में ये gamers हैं, उनका इतना reach है, ये games वो खेलते हैं, and with all that 3-4 hours of work, we finally came up with a write-up where he himself wrote. This is a grade 6 child I'm talking about. He himself wrote an article about gamers along with a picture, and like which you could actually publish. So all of that process, it's about the learning technique plus the mentor who actually understands, and an activity-based module which sort of gives the final outcome. I hope I was able to answer the question.
I mean, of course you were, and as you said, like the user case you gave about the class 6 student. Yeah. The one thing that we understood was that like the prime thing that we understood from this also was कि you need to pick the area of interest of the student.
Absolutely.
First of all.
Yeah.
You cannot just just dhakkofying him and just say ki you have to do this.
Yes.
You're not left with other option, you have to do this. Otherwise the student won't just do it. He would just do the work for the sake of doing it.
Absolutely.
अब चाहे वो अच्छा हो चाहे बुरा हो, उससे उसको कोई मतलब नहीं है. But as you said, the gamification part that you told about ki अच्छा he loves games. So you asked him to write an article or maybe a blog on the game itself, and the interest of area of that kid must have been like on a boom. And उसने अपना 100% effort लगा दिया होगा उसको करने में. As you said that it can be published, right? So of course it means that उसने काफी अच्छा लिखा होगा.
Right.
So my next question would be that like how does the ClassReady concept aligns with the current education scenarios and the current education trends and priorities when we talk about?
Okay, all right. So I think first of all, we all have been talking about कि technology लाना है education के अंदर. Now technology का मतलब ये नहीं है कि आपने you made an app and just put some videos in it and kid will start learning. We have to understand that which element of the education system are we replacing with technology to get better outcomes, right? Now in our case, first of all, like I said, teachers are one of our strengths. Now like I said, in many areas in India, and like 99% of India is not urban India, it's rural India, or tier 2 cities, tier 3 cities. Now in those cities, the access to a person who first of all speaks the correct English and also understands कि activity based learning से कैसे पढ़ाना है is very minimal, right? So we use technology to provide that one teacher who is motivated, fascinated by activity based learning to a child, no matter where the child is, right? So first is connecting the teacher with the child. That is what we do. Secondly, the smart boards came into picture way earlier, 8-10 years, and smart boards only solved one problem, that you can learn digitally, you can look at the images and pictures, right? Now in an online class, it has become very easy to do activity based learning because you can use videos, you can have animations, you can do whatnot. So
gamifications like Kahoot,
absolutely. So we use quizzes, we use like one of our biggest USPs are debates and spell bee and competitions like these. So right now in the past 2 months, especially summers, I hear we are going out, and we've already done close to 50 schools right now these summers who are participating in these debates. Now it becomes super easy to coordinate such debates on a tool like ClassReady, because somebody from some school from Delhi can compete with some school in Bhubaneswar and vice versa, and also they can use tools to do quizzes and participate well. So all that aligned together forms a great experience for kids. And we call it ClassReady Clubhouse, where you can just come in and interact with kids across the country, and that is what was missing in my life when I was a child. I couldn't interact with any child from any part of the world, right? And that too structured. I mean, obviously you won't just go to like place like Google Meet and try to talk to other kids. You need a place where you have a structure, you have an agenda, and you come in and you interact and you also learn. My mind opened up really well when I met people from across the country, from people outside of India, and I also heard their perspectives. Now it feels fascinating when we see, okay, kids are listening to perspectives of other students from different parts of the world, and also then reflecting on those. मैं इसी पे आपको example बताऊंगा. So one of the parents told me कि मेरे घर पे एक globe रखा था, एंड कभी मेरे बच्चे ने वो ग्लोब के ऊपर नजर डाल के देखा ही नहीं कि ये क्यों है यहाँ पर. एंड दिस चाइल्ड वाज इन grade 4. When he came to a ClassReady Clubhouse event, and there was a child from Philippines, and he actually was then after that class going to the globe and looking at Philippines है कहाँ जहाँ से वो बच्चा आया था. So even to that level, when you have that exposure, you start thinking and looking at the world in a different way. So that is how this whole technology piece that we have put together is helping kids.
Thank God that lady was not my mom, because she used to say the same. So as you talked about the exposure of the student while getting in the ClassReady concept, when we talk about we know about NEP 2020, right? And the concept that was urged by the CBSE of just not concentrating on the academic self, but also the extracurricular activities that a student do. So do you think your ClassReady concept aligns somewhere or around with NEP structure of CBSE?
Absolutely. I think first of all, NEP primarily around any skill, it says that we have to focus on building skills more than the academic or theoretical knowledge. That is number one. And communication skills are again one of the major agendas in new education policy. So we definitely align with that, and we feel that NEP was much needed. I mean, communication skills have always been the need of the hour, and now that it's there and it's pushing, it is easier for us to also communicate that to schools and parents that the government is also doing putting focus on this. So definitely I think that helps us, and communication skills have been something which are anyway part of the focus area in NEP.
Like when we talked about NEP, how do you give the individual student a point of learning when we talk about the class ready concept? Because as I say ki, for example, you have 20 people in your class, right? You cannot just individually just get to know with इसमें क्या कमी है, like if he's like उसका communication skills low है, या उसका writing skills low है, या maybe probably he has a stage fear, or maybe he talks very nicely but whenever he is in front of someone he is a bit shy, or maybe he is feared. So how do you guys look up into that for each and every individual student?
So we definitely believe in testing, assessing, and then implementing on the improvement areas. So we keep doing regular assessments, both pen and paper based and also verbal assessments, so that we first of all understand, all right, which intervention to give to this child. We have several learning tracks for students. So if you're a grade 6 child, it doesn't necessarily mean that you would be put in any batch which is of grade 6 students. We understand learning levels, and that is how we assign you a batch. Secondly, when we talk about individual focus, if you look at communication skills, I mean, definitely there could be improvement areas, like you need remedial in grammar, or you need remedial with something else.
Voice tone.
Yeah, in your body voice modulation, body language, this and that, right? So some of it we pick up and we give remedial sessions separately to students while identifying during our regular sessions. Secondly, we feel for communication skills, it's all about being in a group and interacting with others. I mean, if it was a maths class, I would prefer doing a one-on-one session with the child where I'm the teacher, the child is sitting with me, and we are understanding, okay, मैं तो इसको बोल रहा हूँ कि algebra में formula गले, but इसको तो LCM ही नहीं आता. That could be, I mean, because maths is like linear. If you don't know step 1, you can't do step 8, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But communication skills are not linear. I mean, you could still speak up even if you don't know the grammar. I'm talking to you. If you ask me कि अच्छा ये English का आपने word बोला, इसमें कितने adjectives use किए, कितना, it's not conscious in my head कि मैं adjectives use ही करूँ conversation में, right? However, that comes with practice. If I know adjectives, I might be able to use it while conversing without thinking about it. So it's more about the practice and the environment you're in and your interest area. So if, like, for example, मैं हिंदी अच्छी बोल लेता हूँ because I have been in an environment जहाँ पर हिंदी बोली जाती थी, साफ हिंदी बोली जाती थी, and eventually मेरी हिंदी improve होती गई, मुझे किसी क्लास की जरूरत नहीं पड़ी. While for English, I still did not need a class because at some point of time in my age, I was with people who were writing well, who were speaking well, right? Now with a child, all we are asking is give that exposure slightly earlier in your life, and that exposure has to be in a group, specifically in a group, because when you listen to others, then only you learn. So there is a slighter difference in how communication skills are treated as compared to other subjects, because this is not a subject, this is a skill that you need to learn, and that skill is better learned in a group rather than being in one-on-one.
As in a lame language, if I say so, as our parent used to say, Sangati ka asar beta.
Absolutely.
Sangat. Like
so we are the catalyst. We ensure कि संगति अच्छी हो, and then उसमें बातें क्या हो रही हैं, we are monitoring that, right? Versus अगर आप और मैं बैठे हैं और हम दोनों ही बैठे हैं पूरा टाइम एंड हम ही बात करे जा रहे हैं, तो you will just speak like me, but you will not absorb from the environment otherwise.
Otherwise also, exactly. I must say, Shashi Tharoor could be the best person with the ClassReady as the
Absolutely.
as because the vocab he has.
Yeah. I would definitely urge Mr. Shashi Tharoor to become our brand ambassador.
Oh my god. So my last question, but not the least of course, would be around like what are the future developments and trends that is expected in the field of the education technology, especially when we talk about the concept of ClassReady.
Right. Okay. So I think if you look at subjects, so I will first of all talk about outside of ClassReady and then I'll conclude with ClassReady, right?
Yeah.
I'm very fascinated with the products which are using artificial intelligence, machine learning to be able to figure out the learning levels of students, and we call it adaptive learning, where let's say if you're doing a maths question and it keeps giving you a journey basis your responses, right?
Yeah.
That is something which I'm very fascinated with, and I wish ClassReady could do it at some point in time. For us specifically for communication skills, we would really want to be a part of schools and do something out there hyper local, because we feel that communication skills is something people would have to understand that it is not English speaking. It is your ability to speak well, write well, no matter what language, right?
Exactly.
We are doing English because it's a globally accepted language. So chalega hum English kar rahe because for us, India specific, English works. However, as a mission, as a company, what I need is that there should be a conversation about communication skills. Schools should understand that, hey, we need to do more of debates, we need to do more of several interventions which promote such skills to be honed further. Like there's a data which says that on an average, one child gets about 5 minutes of stage time in a year in 365 days that they go to school. That should increase to at least 15 to 20 minutes, which means every child will at least go once on a stage a year. That would be slighter development, but in my ideal world I would want that every child should go once in a month to the stage, or at least speaks up in the class, not just yes ma'am, no ma'am, but should be able to say, like if I was in my chemistry class and my teacher asked me what do you know about benzene, I should be able to say that, hey, I don't know what benzene is. I tried studying about benzene, but it just did not click to me. I should have the ability to speak up that much to the teacher, and if that happens, that is what I'm looking forward to.
I mean, as you said, rightly said that no matter in what language you speak, the amount of confidence that you carry when you are speaking to to someone, that brings up the personality development. If we talk about, and as you said that every student should be given a chance to just go on the stage and talk. And we have seen, I'm like when I talk about my school journey, we used to have all these kind of debates and MUNs. For example, all the people coming from like some other country parts and discussing about a single topic. Maybe it can be a political genre, or maybe it can be a geographical genre, and speaking about that, getting the minds of all the other countries, meeting with all the minds, ideas and brains, innovations, and that makes you more confident, like yes, there is something which is beyond what we have thought of. It's not just about we, like there are people who takes like communication mein kya rakha hai, like what we like, I'm sorry, I should not be saying this, but in IT or maybe in any other segment, like in any other company, जो भी back end जगह पे बैठे रहते हैं, कहते हैं हमारे लिए communication क्या है यार, हमारा काम ही बहुत है. But somewhere or the other they need to understand one point of like thing is, and that is कि ठीक है, you do your work and that is good, but if you speak nicely, or if you have that confidence to just go in front of a client and make him understand about the product or maybe any system that you have, so that creates another face value.
Absolutely.
And that guy would actually remember you, like there was a guy, or maybe there was a girl who was talking about this and he was so confident about his product, his system, or maybe himself, that we took it in a very attractive form. So the concept that is urged by you, like the ClassReady concept, is actually very beautiful, and to be very honest, this concept will actually help a lot of students having the stage fear or maybe the communication fear to just cope up and stand up with that. Thank you so very much for being here.
It was a Pleasure,
Mr. Abhinav, and it was a pleasure talking to you and having such a nice conversation about what exactly the idea was behind about your product, that is ClassReady, and basically not a product, a service, of course. But just the last question, and I am very curious to know about, like, what kind of students are you intaking when talking about the ClassReady? Like, are the students of the early age, or you have given this concept, you have driven this concept for the K-12 journey?
So right now, students of grade 3 to 9, 10 primarily are enrolling with the program like us. Because I think those are the years where cognitive development around, linguistic skills, it's way higher. So the probability of you learning a language or being better at it is very high at that age. Secondly, you have more time when you're a child and in school. So I mean, when you're grade 11th and onwards, I mean, you have all this physics wala and all those FITZY and all those interventions that you have to do. I'm sorry for taking names, but I mean, you have to learn physics and chemistry and maths and prepare for competitive exams. This is the window where you can actually work on this, and if you work on this at this age, grade 3 to 6, if you work on your communication skills, it is sorted forever. I mean, I take this example with in front of many parents, that when I was in grade 3, I read photosynthesis for the first time. Now that's when I couldn't understand photosynthesis really well, but when I was in grade 8, I could explain it very well to my sibling. The reason was not because I became a scientist or I became very good with science suddenly, just because my reading ability became better. So this time I was able to comprehend better and explain that to my sibling, right? So it's more about progression of your language acquisition, the way you comprehend, the way you speak. That if you are able to acquire at that age, it stays forever, and you don't need tuitions or these kind of interventions to some extent if you are better with language. So I mean, like, if I talk about my time, I did not had any kind of tuitions or maybe any kind of place where I can just go and ramp up with my communication skills. So what we used to do was that we used to listen to English songs. So see, as we say, that you learned something, right? Out of English songs also. It made you sing, it made you, know about the song lyrics. You understood the lyrics, as you said, the reading capabilities and abilities that work. So you try to get up with that, and now, as we say that, okay, ab to fluency ho gaya ya jo bhi hai. But eventually I am like, things have gone like beyond and progressive, that there are such nice concepts that have been driven by, of course, like you guys. And thank you for such a beautiful conversation. It was amazing having this like, not a cup of tea, of course, but then having this conversation was amazing. Before ending with this interview session, there is a bit of a signature concept that we have, is to sign this mug. I won't just say the name of the show that we have copied from, but then we say this is our own concept, as an education concept. There you go. Oh, both of them.
So one is for you and one is for us as a memorable moment.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Mansi. It was lovely interacting, and I really liked the conversation. And I mean, in this weather, it's awesome to just sit in an air conditioned like talk about yourself. So, and thanks everyone for listening to us.
Thank you all for staying tuned in this video. We'll meet with next guest of this video session. Till then, thank you. Bye-bye.